Me and my dire howl had one mission only: to challenge this syndicate tower. My opponent here was this e-girl with her ginormous grisbolt, and I don't know if it was my cockiness or what, but I was so sure I would be able to conquer this tower. Admittedly, looking at the amount of damage I was doing didn't really bring my hopes up. Desperation crept up on me like a kidnapper, and even though I knew I couldn't capture this thing, I still wasted 2 Palspheres on it. My Nightwing couldn't hang, so I sent out my Tombat, and well, that did nothing since I eventually lost this epic 1v1. Naked, defeated, I felt the breeze flow through my ass as I went to gather what remained of me. I gathered up my supplies and brought this panglet closer to its god. I witnessed animal abuse again, and since PETA didn't do shit, I had to step in and get shit done. After saving the animals, I forcefully kidnapped them and was now a proud owner of a Capridy. I unlocked another fast travel spot and then made the mistake of entering a dungeon. Unfortunately, the homeowners of this dungeon were all here and they were not holding back. I stood no chance and got my ass overwhelmingly whooped. Another shameful, embarrassing walk back to my backpack only brought one thought to my head: I am absolute trash. My confidence was dropping, so I took some time to just smell the roses and focus more on exploring. However, this led me to yet another confidence-destroying encounter. This game has reduced me to a mere shell of the former man I once was. Somehow, someway, the moon didn't illuminate this part of the map right, so trying to navigate to my bag became more of a guessing game, with a time limit since I was also freezing to death. Not gonna lie, this area had some cool looking pals, but I think for once I finally learned from my lessons. I knew these pals would have taken more than my V card if I tried to attack them. I lied. I didn't learn a single thing. Actually, I did attack one, and well, let's just say I didn't like the amount of damage I was dealing it. Thankfully, before things got too real, I found a fast travel spot and left. At my base, I felt numb. I didn't even want to go out anymore, so I stayed here and got some stuff done. I upgraded my most ferocious pal's attack to 12% and crafted as many arrows as I could. I then created some new armor to hide my disgrace and created an egg incubator. My hopes was that I would be able to hatch a pal that would put the fear of God into anyone it crosses paths with. With 9 minutes to kill, I decided to gather more resources and even create some medicine, but goddamn, does that take long. I got bored, so I built a crossbow, and boy, does it pack a punch. As I was assaulting these low-level pals, I leveled up my health and was slowly raising my confidence again. The incubation was complete, and the demon that came out of it was a fuddler. Not really sure how intimidating a fuddler was, but I wasn't pleased with it, so another egg it is. I really wanted to unlock this Nightwing saddle, so that was my next main objective. Since I crafted a lot of arrows, I felt stronger than what I really was, and came up with the brilliant idea to attack the Memorist again. I had new armor, a stronger pal, and a crossbow. I knew I had it in the bag. Alright, well, you can't blame me for trying. I went skeet shooting, but with living creatures, and boy howdy, was my aim and damage output looking real good. I knew I was doing something right when not even a Nightwing stood a chance against me. I captured my first, what does that say, fuck? And then turned on my aimbot to headshot all these wimps and help the endangered animal. A ram that shot fireballs caught my attention, so I put it in my van, and so did this edgy dinosaur wearing a hoodie. At the tippy top of this rock, I found an egg that I hoped held Simba, and I also found out that this game is a lot bigger than I thought it was. My parents almost found their boy dead on his gaming chair when I nearly became a victim to a heart attack when I fell down this cliff. Surprisingly, this led me to a small village where I finally met NPCs that were not trying to kill me. They just wanted all my money. I can finally say I made it back home without dying a single time. My egg hatched a hang you, aka a fuck you, you're not strong enough, and then I threw in another egg. A raid happened, I saw them on top of the cliff, I turned around to craft something, and then they were all just dead. I came across my first shiny pal in this game, so I was super excited to capture it, but then my daydream literally made that dream of mine an impossibility. As punishment, I gave this other daydream the ability to dream for eternity. I crafted a Palsphere workbench, which made it a lot easier for me to obtain Megaspheres. Now I'm not gonna lie, this camp I had was kinda small, so I wanted to find maybe a new home or like an area which I could use for resource collecting. As I was crossing this bridge, I saw a bunch of these iron rocks, and you best believe it caught my attention. When I arrived, the thoughts of the PAL enslavement camp I could create here filled me up with so much dopamine, I overdosed. Before I started construction, I went to go look around the area to see what it had to offer. I tried to save this man from a mugging and then took his life on accident. I rode across beautiful purple flowers, deleted the code of 3 NPCs, and unlocked the fast travel spot. When I got home, I went to see what the blue egg held inside, and it was a chillet. This made my boss battle with it and capture of it much less rewarding, since I could have just gotten it from a damn egg. Finally, I created a freezer to store my food inside of and went up to a nice even level 10. I figured that, hey, I've made some sort of progress here, so I went to that open area I found and made it official. I now owned more land, but boy did this place need some cleaning up to do. I went back to my original base to gather some materials and saw a shiny mammoth. This game will never let me live down the incident that occurred on January 29th, 2024. Upon arriving back to my new base, I got raided, but the thing is, they first had to get down to us, so that gave me enough time to realize a couple of things. One, these pals were already clearing out trees when I got here, so that was a very nice surprise. Got some very hardworking animals. And two, these iron rocks, well, they had to go since they immobilized any pal that goes on top of it. When the raiders eventually arrived, all hell broke loose. I myself even got a little wet and dirty and ended up getting some lead pumped into me, but that's okay, because in the end, they were the cowards, and we were the brave and strong. As a reward for being so courageous, I built my pals their first food bowl and their first workstation. I cleared out some of the iron around this area, saw direwolves get viciously mollywopped, cleared some of the trees, hatched a serpent, made sure all my pals had cozy beds, and by then, after a lot of hard work, this area was starting to come along very nicely. And then, out of nowhere, a herd of wild pals invaded us, and boy was it a massacre. I had to retreat behind a rock because of how barbaric it was starting to get. Most of my laborers were nearly killed in the process, but that's why I capture more pals. If some workers get sick, you should always have others on standby. Since things were looking pretty good here, I went back up to my OG base and saw that my poor pinglet was stuck on a cliff. I climbed to my friend in a desperate attempt to help, but alas, I could not pick him up. So then I just respawned him back. After getting some chores done, I arrived back to my new land and saw my pals peacefully asleep. Now that was ridiculously adorable. At this point in my journey, I was pretty much just chilling. I spent most of my time just gathering resources and trying to expand my base as much as I could. My pals were all working hard and cooperating, and I even managed to build a 3-shot bow. This bow essentially shot out 3 arrows for the price of 1. Not a bad investment whatsoever. After some time, I was pretty much low on arrows, so I spent about the entire day crafting over 100 of them. No joke, I started around noon, and then by the time I was done, the moon pulled up. I set up torches around my base to keep the mobs from spawning here, and then I used up some of my tech points to unlock the Pinglet rocket launcher. Finally, after Lord knows how long, I was now one step closer to obtaining a weapon of mass destruction. I built a little stage where I could command my pals to work harder if I wanted to, which of course I did, and my god, it was like they were on crack. Ladies and gentlemen, on God knows what hour of this gameplay, I built the rocket launcher. You basically call out the penguin, stuff him in the rocket launcher, and send him on a mission he will not be coming back from. I hatched an Arsox, rescued a fuddler, found a tree that had different types of skill fruit on it, murdered a man, and then recreated the leap of faith for absolutely no other reason than I was just too lazy to walk back down the mountain. I stumbled across a Depresso, and man, with the work I was about to give him once I captured him, his name would 100% describe how he's about to feel. So throughout these little side quests I've been doing, there was one thing that kept lurking near me. Something I couldn't seem to escape. This message saying to challenge the Rain Syndicate Tower boss. Now I did try it earlier in the video and got absolutely smoked, but now after all the bullshit I've been through, I decided to go ahead and give it another shot. I sent out my Nightwing and attacked the Grizzbolt with my 3-shot bow, and immediately I was doing much more damage than before. However, I saw that my Nightwing wasn't doing too hot, so I sent out my Tombat and in the process took a pretty big hit. I got electrocuted and thought it was all over, but my Tombat managed to distract the Grizzbolt at the perfect time. I had no healing items other than just berries, so me healing was going to take some time. I unloaded all my arrows onto the boss and realized God damn, I was kinda now stuck with my spear. My Tombat was taking a beating, so I sent out my Chillet and it sorta just kept pushing the Grizzbolt, which was great since it kept me away from him. It also managed to freeze it, which gave me more than enough time to allow me to take a small breather. For once, my health bar was looking better than the boss's, but my poor Chillet got snuffed out. Now, as if it was a poem, I sent out my ride to die. My home skillet biscuit, my brother from another mother, my dire howl. This man and me put in some serious damage to this yellow fuck, and in the blink of an eye, the dire howl shot mud into the eyes of the Grizzbolt, taking it out for good. The boss was finally eliminated. This unlocked the fast travel point above the tower where I stood atop of the world. I went ahead and healed up the pals I used in the fight, and well, that's about it. My journey into Palworld kinda just ended here. I got sidetracked on a new challenge video that you guys will hopefully see within the next week, if not 2 weeks. And until then, I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.